Hello and welcome to Where the Living Room Used to Be, a podcast about Rhode Island's music scene. Hey everyone, it's James. For this bonus episode, Dolan shared what I feel is a very insightful piece of advice that he learned from Sage. Kind of gets into a little bit about, perspective and success. And he also talks about what true self-reliance can mean for an artist. So, hope you enjoy. If you can, please subscribe, leave a rating and review. And as always, follow along on Facebook and Instagram at Living Room UTB, where you'll see some show flyers and pictures from B. Dolan's time in music. What is the best piece of music advice someone has given you, like a mentor, a teacher, someone that you've performed with, something that they kind of passed along that really resonated with you?
It probably came from Sage Francis, and it was during one of the in-between times, in between albums. We were talking a little bit about how, like, you get the gratification of going on tour and releasing the thing, and then you have, like, 2 years. I refer to it mentally as in the desert. That's when then you have to go in the desert.
Uh-huh.
And in the desert, you will question yourself, and you will face your fears, and maybe you will come back with a record. And I was in one of those in the desert times. I think I was literally in the desert. I was in Las Vegas in a rental car. I'm just like, man, that last show sucked. This next one better be great. I don't know, man. I don't know if I made a mistake. And at the time, he was just like, you need to internalize more blame. And it was harsh at the time. I took it really harsh, but it's been something to fall back on. And bands, any type of creative endeavor is, you better be really good at rejection. And if you're not, it's going to be really hard to do it long term. You must learn rejection. And dealing with that rejection, you can either externalize the blame for why something didn't work or internalize it. And many, many people, especially in the indie community and the DIY community, we have this this automatic chip on our shoulder. Some people, I really think you don't even know why that chip is on your shoulder against, the mainstream. You might think the mainstream is like an evil force that's out to get you and suppress you. And in some cases it is, like Facebook. They, but in many cases, people that you view as gatekeepers are actually just doing their thing. It's not that they're not, trying to help you. It's that they're just not focused on you. They're focused on them. And until you land in the same space as them, they're not likely to pay much attention to you. And it's not out of any animosity or any evil conspiracy. And so it's easy to point fingers or look at another artist who's popping off, who you think you're better than, and you're like, why them and not me? Like, what, and the advice was just like, but what did you do? What did they do that you didn't do? What can you do next time? How can you change your approach to make this either not a problem or to solve this problem? And because that's all you have at the end of it all. The person who's going to be most invested in your art is you. And then everybody else after is less invested because they get less rewards. You get to be on stage and be the rock star. So therefore you have to give everything. And if something goes wrong, you got to reconfigure it. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Internalizing the blame.
Gotcha.
It'll give you something to do, because the opposite is that you do nothing and you kind of just blame everyone. If you are pointing that inward, then it's like, well, work harder, or work different, or don't do that, do this.
Yeah. No, it's, it's encouraging to hear that stuff. And
yeah, for sure. Arguably my career as an underground rapper started after the crest of underground rappers hit and established a lot of careers. So the Def Jux, Anticon, Rhymesayers, Napster, Scribble Jam era, I kind of came through the door like right after that in like 2008. So arguably, you know, and again, like at a time when acts that would have been signed on the indie rap circuit were now getting replaced by like dubstep acts when I was looking for my first booking agents and things like that. So yeah, I mean, a window of time, all that stuff, it was always easy to be like, well, man, the door is shut. And the answer was, well, the door's not shut if you want it to be not shut. All you have to do is now find a different way in, because that is kind of what happens in the music industry. Somebody has success via one way, whether it's like Reddit or TikTok or whatever the fuck, or, you know, or so something pops, something happens. And then like moths to a flame, every band and musician and label and marketer and publicist tries to replicate that, which closes that door instantly, you know. And so no one ever gets in the same way twice. No two waves of things happen. And there are gatekeepers, there are major companies involved, of course, in the music industry that just carve up the biggest slice of the pie. But I mean, if you have inspired amateurs, you know, they will make something happen. And always have. And that's, you know, how every wave starts. Whether or not the people who innovate get paid in the end, you know, who knows? That's like the business side that you got to figure out. But
that's almost part of music history in general, you know, like usually the people that are creating the stuff are not the ones that are often attributed to it, you know?
Yeah, and in the scheme of things, it's like you can't be mad that your band didn't jump off at South by Southwest because Chuck Berry. And it's like whatever you got to complain about is this one.
What was that thing? Similar to that, you know, is there a piece of advice from your own career, you know, that's spanned decades now, like something that you've observed from the industry that you would pass along, similar to like what Sage has done?
It took me a long time to really embrace the DIY MFS. Even though my initial reaction to the music industry was total rejection, was like, I won't be part of this. I will just make things and never sell them. And Sage, through his years of mentorship, has got me to a place that is a middle ground where my creativity it's what I do all the time. And I'm grateful for that, because it shouldn't be a side thing, or I shouldn't have to, I'm glad that I don't have to do something else and then scribble in my notebook in the off hours. Like I get to wake up and do this all day, and I'm super grateful for that. So yeah, the DIY approach, the benefits of that, and the like internalizing the blame shit for years. Also, if you're externalizing everything and you think that your success is based on somebody helping you out or giving you a leg up, then when that doesn't happen, you're instantly like frustrated and you feel like blocked. But if you are really invested in like doing it all yourself, and you're convinced that like I have everything I need, like whether we're going to do it through Patreon or Twitch, or whether I'm going to like record on a 4-track and post it to SoundCloud, and like you just have to figure out the vehicle by which you're going to transmit things and reach people with it, however you do it. And if that's your approach, then you don't need to be co-signed by anybody. You don't have to be signed by anybody, and you don't need anything from anyone. And that is the advice, is that like the best footing you can be on with people, especially when you're trying to represent your creativity and work it into their industry, is to feel like and it was powerful even in movies, because I had a music career at the point where I was like writing movies, and it was just like, I don't need to do this. and that gave me freedom, and it made peers respect me and listen to me, and it gave me the ability to like stay focused on what I wanted to do and not be looking for and not be blocked. Yeah. Which, I don't know if that translates to everybody. If you're like a bassist, you probably need a couple other people to, but maybe you don't. I don't know. You can do stuff with MIDI triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Extreme self-reliance. That's my.
And last question. What would you say inspires you? Whether it is with your music or just in life, is there something that drives you?
Yeah. Life in general inspires me. The weird state of existence that I'm in. And this place and time, as bizarre and horrific and terrifying and tragic as it is, I still am driven to witness it and explore it and be with people. People inspire me. Most of the people I meet in one way or another affect or inspire me, even the bad ones. Yeah, for many years, just like traveling and, witnessing and recording as a writer is a big part of it for me. I find life continually, awe-inspiring. Mm-hmm. And yeah, getting as much of it down in the limited time that we have here.
Yeah.
That's what it's always been about, I think.
Yeah, I can identify with that. Just trying to give back. Just kind of understand that everything is temporary.
Yeah, I think music in particular brings people together. Like I said, on like a really basic human level, I think people's brainwaves synchronize when we all nod our heads and listen to the same thing. And I do think people are basically good still. The majority of people I've interacted with in the world, and I've been all around the world in some really weird situations that I have for the last decade just relied on the kindness of strangers. In many cases, I was in places that I had no business being alone. An American rapper in Prague who got off at the wrong train station and, like is dragging a suitcase. Yeah, people will help you. People are cooperative by nature. There's lots of evil shit that like drives us apart and warps us. But I think, yeah, people are good, and engaging with people through music and everything we do is what has given my life meaning for sure. And given me some hope while I fight on the activist side of things. It recharges me.
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough, Dolan. Thank you.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Thank you so much for listening. In the full episode, B talked about how his mixtape, House of Bees 2, possibly brought him more attention than some of his other work, some of his full albums, so to say. The reason for this is, there's a couple songs on there that kind of took off. One is Film the Police, and I hope you've had a chance to check out the special segment that I did with him. It was released a couple weeks ago, and it, gets a little bit deeper into why this song was written and, everything that's kind of surrounds that movement. And the other song is Which Side Are You On, which I have for you right here. And it's just a powerful song, especially with where we are in the world right now. So, please check it out.
Don't let them escape unpunished.
Who let the torch pass fall in the tall grass. Fire alarm, wires disarmed, what do you call that? Call it predictable political cliche. So when the movie ends, the revolution's dead. Replay the sequence of events that led to these deep divisions. I realize the order wrong, people are in prison. The children wanna know if I believe in the reptilians. I tell them I don't know, but on the TV I see lizards. When action was in fashion, you were such an easy mimic. Bumper sticker, quote lifting, grip note statistic. Grasp for the strong man, born again cynic. Fair weather firebrand sparked my suspicion. Knew you were the type to take the fight like a gimmick and rock the t-shirt when your sweat wasn't in it. The clock is still ticking for the victim of the future. You wait until they look like you to ever choose, but
which side are you on? Which side are you on?
damn,
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
that's the industry.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Ask a MC.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Go ahead. Who wrote the greatest lines of our generation, but couldn't get from under their own small-minded hate trip? The same rappers say they troop in the front lines and casually use the word faggot as a punchline. That's not a man, that's not a tough guy. That is a sucker and a fraud to the culture. Hip-hop is folk music grown from the struggle, and half these fools could put the mic down and run as a Republican. Fuck them, then they learn from their own wrong. Homophobes don't go to my shows, we too strong. And if you in the front row harassing girls during a song, I'ma reach out and ask you exactly.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
You ain't gotta like it.
Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you on?
I'm on the side of poor people getting organized. I'm on the side of choice where it is in short supply. I'm on the side of those the system doesn't authorize. LGBT, we are on the side of pride, justice and equality. Egypt to Wisconsin when they march against the policy. If you bring it down a king, I'm on your side probably. Kids will give me shit for this, it really doesn't bother me. They were not around when we were wrestling with poverty. So I follow none and ask no one to follow me. Use your own mind, use your heart and your anger. Check yourself because apathy is a cancer, and let your action be the answer.
Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you on?
Ask your government.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Ask your media.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Ask yourself.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scared for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. 'Cause poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize. Don't scared for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. 'Cause poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.